Wild pigs are destroying the country, and we let them breed uncontrollably. It's hard to believe, but it's the harsh reality we're facing. Wild pigs, an invasive species, are not just invading but are ravaging the land, crops, the lives of millions of farmers, and threatening the stability of this entire country. What's even more appalling, what makes us unable to bear it any longer, is this. We, a civilized society, full of technology and knowledge, are allowing these pigs to breed and multiply, while their destruction worsens every day. Imagine this. Thousands of hectares of farmland are turned upside down, crops destroyed overnight. Rice fields, corn, cassava, the hard-earned values of the farmer's sweat and blood, are suddenly reduced to piles of rubble after every wild pig attack. These pigs don't just destroy the land, they also bring a host of other uncontrollable consequences, from diseases, environmental pollution, to the decline in biodiversity. And yet, we let them exist. Wild pigs, these invaders, are not native animals, but they are thriving, while our control measures are utterly ineffective. The government, the very people responsible for protecting the land and the lives of its people, stand by and watch this destruction unfold without taking decisive action. Allowing wild pigs to breed uncontrollably, no one dares to take strong action against them. No one dares to implement a tough solution. As a result, farmers, poor families, are enduring the consequences of lost harvests, failures year after year. And do you know what's even more infuriating? It's the indifference, the apathy of those responsible for stopping this destruction. We cannot continue to watch our country wither away because of an invasive species we can't control. It's time to act. Wild pigs cannot be the reason we continue to endure this disaster. We cannot let these animals continue to multiply. We cannot let them destroy everything like an uncontrollable wildfire. So why aren't the authorities, the relevant agencies, acting immediately to eliminate them? How many more harvests will be ruined? How many more farmers will face this tragedy? What's the answer, if not negligence, superficiality, and a lack of concern for the pain of the working people? How can we continue to watch these pigs destroy the land, kill an entire agricultural industry that millions of people depend on? We cannot continue to ignore this disaster. If we don't act now, if we don't stop the wild pigs invasion immediately, then this country will be nothing but a barren wasteland, a society overrun by invasive animals. It's time for us to stand up, to say no to the invasion of wild pigs and protect the land, the crops, and the lives of the people. Why should we tolerate these invasive wild pigs? How many more harms? This question echoes in the hearts and minds of every farmer across the country, fueling anger and fear. How much longer will we allow the destruction of our land, our hard-earned crops, simply because the government refuses to act? How many more acres of crops? How many more families will face ruin before someone in power stands up and stops this madness? The silence from the authorities is deafening, and the consequences of their inaction are devastating. The lack of government action isn't just frustrating, it's terrifying. The longer the authorities delay, the deeper the wound they inflict on our economy, especially on our farmers. These wild pigs are an existential threat, and yet we are left to fend for ourselves as our livelihoods are torn apart. The government has failed to intervene. They have failed to protect us. They have failed to stop the spread of these destructive creatures. And now, The damage is reaching catastrophic levels. So, how many more seasons will be ruined? How many more innocent lives will be shattered? This is not just an agricultural issue. This is a humanitarian crisis. We are watching families fall into deeper poverty as wild pigs continue to ravage their crops. The very people who feed this nation are being left to drown in the chaos that is spiraling out of control. How is it fair that hard-working farmers, who wake up at the crack of dawn to cultivate the land, are subjected to the daily horror of seeing their crops destroyed by an animal they cannot fight off? It's not just about the crops, it's about their futures. It's about their children's. The tragedy here isn't just the loss of crops, it's the loss of dreams, the loss of stability, and the loss of hope. These pigs are not just animals, they are the symbol of the government's failure to protect its citizens. The devastation they bring is a direct consequence of government inaction. Every destroyed crop, every shattered farmer, is the result of a system that has abandoned its people. How much more can the farming community endure before they are pushed to the brink? How many more lives will be ruined before someone in power wakes up to the crisis at hand? We can't continue to sit idly by as the people who feed us are systematically destroyed by a force we could have controlled. We cannot continue to tolerate thy. If we don't act now, wild pigs will become the rulers of the land, and the people will be left to live in the shadow of destruction. This isn't just a possibility, it's a terrifying reality we are on the brink of. Picture it, a future where every field, every farm, every inch of land is overtaken by wild pigs. A future where no crops are safe, no homes are untouched, and every farmer is forced to watch as their life's work is obliterated by these invaders. This isn't just about a few ruined fields or broken fences anymore. This is about the complete collapse of our agricultural system, and by extension, our way of life. If we don't take action now, we'll be left with nothing but the ruins of our past, a wasteland that will haunt our children and grandchildren. Wild pigs will reign over the land, and all we'll have left are the memories of what we once had. How many more crops need to be trampled? How many more homes must be destroyed? The government's failure to act could mean the end of rural life as we know it. We cannot stand by any longer. We cannot allow the invasion of wild pigs to continue unchecked. Every moment we delay is another moment they gain ground, another moment they destroy everything in their path. How long are we going to watch this happen? How much longer are we going to sit in silence while farmers, the backbone of our society, lose everything they've worked for? This is not a time for passivity. This is not a time to wait for someone else to act. This is the moment we must rise and say, no more destruction, no more devastation, and no more suffering for our farmers. This is our land, our future, and we will not let it slip away into the hands of these animals. We must act now. We cannot afford to let wild pigs continue to thrive unchecked. Every day we let these pigs breed uncontrollably is another day they advance, another day they spread farther into our communities, into our homes. And with every day that passes, more lives are ruined. How many families must be pushed to the brink of bankruptcy? How many more farmers must lose their livelihood before the government stops pretending this is not an emergency? How many more people must cry out in desperation before those in power hear their cries? The failure to act is unacceptable, it's criminal. If we don't intervene now, we will be left with nothing but the wreckage of a nation overtaken by invaders we could have stopped. The government's hesitation is costing us everything, and the time to wait has long passed. This isn't just a matter of protecting crops or land. It's a matter of protecting the soul of this nation. The farming community has given everything to this land, and yet we stand by and watch them lose it all to wild pigs. This isn't just their fight, it's everyone's fight. If we let this continue, we are all complicit in the destruction of our future. Every farmer who loses his fields, every home that's destroyed, every person who suffers the consequences of this unchecked invasion is a failure on the part of those who should have acted. The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now. We cannot afford to sit idly by any longer. It's time for the people to demand action and for the government to stop hiding behind excuses. If we don't stop this invasion now, there will be no land left to save. Many people defend animals to an extreme, but the wild pigs cannot be overlooked. It's true that we should protect animals, that we must safeguard wildlife, but there's a linear line that these wild pigs have crossed, and it's one we cannot ignore. The argument of animal rights should not be used as an excuse to let a species destroy entire ecosystems and wipe out the livelihoods of our farmers. Wild pigs are not just animals in the wild. They are an invasive force, a plague that destroys everything in its path. Yet there are people out there who seem to believe that the rights of these pigs outweigh the destruction they're... Yes, we must protect animals, but we also have a duty to protect our people, our farmers, our communities, our way of life. We cannot continue to let wild pigs invade our land unchecked because a few people with misguided ideals refuse to recognize the danger. These aren't cute, harmless creatures roaming in the forest. These are violent invaders that are tearing apart our agricultural heartland. The longer we allow them to proliferate, the more damage they will cause, and the harder it will be to fix. But these animal rights activists? They sit in their ivory towers, detached from the reality on the ground, pushing for the protection of these wild pigs while the rest of us are left to pick up. We're not asking for the extinction of wild pigs, but we are demanding that they be controlled. Their unchecked breeding and expansion are a threat to the very foundation of our economy, our homes, and our future. There is no room for compromise here. We cannot let sentimentality and overblown ideologies dictate the fate of our country. The stakes are too high. The damage is too great. People are losing their livelihoods while these activists push for the same reckless leniency that allowed this disaster to begin in the fur. This is not an argument about animal rights, it's an argument about survival, about ensuring that we don't lose everything to creatures that have no place here. The wild pigs have crossed the line, and if we don't act, we will find ourselves living in a